1 month after my death from cancer, James still believed I was merely throwing a tantrum, waiting for me to return and apologize to his first love. It was not until Evelyn's birthday, when she wanted to invite me, that James called, speaking coldly, "Sharon, do you realize your mistake?" On the other end, a friend's voice choked, "Sharon has been dead for a month." In the 3rd year of my marriage to James, I was diagnosed with advanced gastric cancer. The doctor recommended surgical treatment. The day before the surgery, I called James. "What is it?" When the call connected, James's tone was extremely impatient. I lowered my eyelids and softly said, "James, I have surgery tomorrow." He coldly interrupted me, "Sharon, do you think pretending to be ill will make me forgive what you did to Evelyn before? If you truly want my forgiveness, come apologize to Evelyn, otherwise, no discussion." I explained, "I'm not pretending, I really..." He impatiently interrupted again, "I'm very busy and have no time to argue with you. If you're really ill, notify me to collect the body after you die." With that, he hung up directly. Listening to the busy tone, I closed my eyes briefly and put down the phone. A week earlier, right after I was diagnosed with advanced gastric cancer, I went to find James to tell him about my illness. That day, he was boating on the lake with his white moonlight, Evelyn. Evelyn accidentally fell into the water, and I selflessly jumped in to save her. However, after reaching shore, Evelyn turned around and accused me, saying I pushed her in. James believed her and had a huge argument with me. "Sharon, how can a vicious woman like you not just go die?" After cursing me, he directly carried Evelyn away, giving me no chance to explain. He did not know that I was truly about to die. As James wished, I died on the operating table. After my death, it was Aaron who handled my remains. Aaron and I came from the same orphanage, he was my best friend. We had relied on each other for over a decade, and I always treated him as my own brother. Probably angered by James's indifference toward me, Aaron did not inform James of my death but directly took my ashes back to the orphanage and buried me on the back hill where we often played as children. The slope was covered with dandelions, beautiful when the wind blew. I grew up here, and after death, it became my resting place once more. After the burial, my soul did not dissipate but seemed drawn by some force, trapped by James's side, following him day after day, confined within a 5-meter radius around him. Since the last time she fell into the water, Evelyn had caught a cold that lingered. In the month after my death, James frequently visited her apartment, cooking for her and caring for her attentively. James's tenderness toward Evelyn was something I had never witnessed. He would remind her to add layers when it was cool. He would brew hangover soup for her when she was drunk. When she was sad watching a movie, he would hand her tissues and say sweet words to comfort her, his voice so gentle it seemed to drip with affection. I remembered that these were all things I used to do for him. He had taken what he learned from me and applied it all to another woman. When they were together, Evelyn occasionally mentioned me, advising him, "James, hasn't Sharon contacted you yet? Maybe you shouldn't stay angry with her." Last time I fell into the water, it was actually my own carelessness, it had nothing to do with her. "Don't let my issue ruin your marital relationship." Her words sounded generous and proper. If not for the fact that on the day she fell in, when James accused me, she did not explain a single word but defaulted to the notion that I had pushed her, perhaps I would have been moved, thinking she was a kind person and that I had wrongly judged her with a petty mindset. I know the truth of the matter, you don't need to defend her. James's voice was cold and ruthless. I'd like to see how long she can hold out this time. I had accompanied him through 3 years of marriage. Even now, he still thought I was a bad seed, giving me no trust at all. I really wanted to tell him that this time, I could persist for a lifetime. That night, after James returned home from overtime, he did not go straight to the bedroom but entered the study again. He was a person who maintained balance, although the Jiang family was wealthy and influential. In work, James never pushed himself too hard and previously never brought work home. However, since my death, he seemed to gradually become busier, working overtime until late every day, only resting after finishing, giving himself no breathing room. After finishing today's work, James returned to the master bedroom, took a shower, changed into pajamas, and walked onto the spacious open balcony. The moonlight was bright. He lit a cigarette, leaned on the white railing, quietly gazing into the distance with little expression on his face. Nonetheless, I detected his current irritability from a few subtle expressions. In the month after my death, his mood seemed consistently poor. Was it because I had not returned to apologize after Evelyn fell into the water, so he was angry? In the silent air, his phone suddenly rang. He almost immediately took out the phone, his dark eyes lighting up with sparks. However, the next second, upon seeing the caller ID, the faint emotions in his eyes returned to calm. The call was from Evelyn. He answered the call. "It's so late, haven't you slept yet?" His voice was very gentle. On the other end, Evelyn coquettishly said, "Can't sleep, thinking of you." James chuckled once, and Evelyn continued, "James, tomorrow is my birthday, invite Sharon to come along." I don't blame her for last time. Tomorrow, she and I can clear things up, so you won't be caught in the middle. James gently agreed and chatted some more about daily matters with Evelyn. After ending the call with Evelyn, James rather impatiently dialed my phone number. This was the first time in this month that he proactively contacted me. The result was no answer. After my death, that phone was no longer used and should now be suspended due to arrears. James called several times with no answer, becoming more irritated, and then dialed Aaron's number. He had always disliked Aaron, and now, to find me, he had to contact him proactively, which must have been quite displeasing. But he had just promised Evelyn that he would bring me tomorrow, so now he could only try his best to contact me. After all, he took any casual word from Evelyn to heart. The phone rang several times before being answered. Without waiting for the other side to speak, James said, "Tomorrow is Evelyn's birthday, tell Sharon to come back and apologize to Evelyn, or don't come back at all." His tone was cold, completely lacking the patience and gentleness he had shown Evelyn earlier. On the other end, Aaron coldly said, "Sharon is already dead, if you want her apology, tell that green tea to go to hell and listen." Hearing Aaron's words, James was momentarily dazed. "Who did you say died?" "I said Sharon is dead." Aaron's voice suppressed pain. "She was buried a month ago and will never appear before you and Evelyn again. You can be with Evelyn forever." James was stunned, his eyes blank and panicked. "But soon," he sarcastically said, "this script was told to you by Sharon, right? Last time pretending to be ill didn't work, this time directly pretending to be dead? Does she only know these tricks? Tell her, if she doesn't come tomorrow, she doesn't need to come back for the rest of her life." Hearing his words, Aaron seemed angry, raising his voice. "Who said it's pretend? Sharon is really dead. She's been buried. She's been dead for so many days. As her husband, she disappeared for a month and you ignored her, now calling just to make her apologize to your mistress. James, do you have any shame?" James, born with a silver spoon, accustomed to flattery, was scolded head-on by Aaron and immediately darkened his face. "Aaron, who permitted you to speak to me in this tone?" Aaron angrily said, "What I'm saying is restrained. If you don't want me to greet your 18 generations of ancestors, don't contact me again." With that, without waiting for James to speak, Aaron hung up. James called back, but the other end indicated it was powered off. With a gloomy face, James called his assistant, instructing to find out where Aaron was now. From his eyes, I saw brewing anger and storm. Earlier, Aaron had defied him, so he planned to find Aaron and teach him a lesson. Yet, regarding news of my death, he showed no concern at all. Just like during the month I disappeared, he only remembered to make me apologize to Evelyn, never worrying about my well-being, not even calling once. Recalling my sacrifices for him over these years, I suddenly felt it absurd and laughable. Before marrying me, James had a car accident that left his legs disabled. After the accident, his ex-girlfriend left him, and his parents aged overnight. At that time, no one was willing to marry James, a disabled man. The Jiang elders worried about the family line ending and hoped I would marry him to care for him for the rest of his life. I came from an orphanage, orphaned. It was the Jiang elders who sponsored my university education. They promised that if I agreed to marry James, they would donate to the orphanage. At that time, I happened to have a secret crush on James, so I agreed. After marriage, James's disabled legs made him unable to care for himself, and his temper was extremely irritable. Many caregivers couldn't stand it and left, but only I stayed by his side loyally and diligently. During those days, he often lost his temper, complaining that the food I made was not tasty, my massage techniques were not skilled enough, and I was clumsy with words, unable to please him. I did not argue back but worked even harder to study cooking, learned massage from masters, and cared for James wholeheartedly. He noticed my efforts, gradually becoming kinder to me and occasionally showing concern. Under my meticulous care and the hospital's full treatment, James's condition improved day by day. And after his legs fully recovered, Evelyn returned. She effortlessly regained James's favor. I had spent 3 years to barely enter James's eyes, while Evelyn did nothing and was already his preference. In this relationship, I had lost from the beginning. The next day, Evelyn's birthday. James's life assistant stood in the wardrobe, respectfully asking, "Sir, which designer's work would you like to wear today?" James did not lift his head, his gaze selecting a watch from the cabinet, just match it according to the usual style. The assistant swallowed and cautiously said, "Previously, for important occasions, Madam helped you with the outfits, perhaps contact her and ask." "Recently, her phone is unreachable, I can't contact her." James's face slightly darkened, his cold eyes landing on the assistant. "What, I pay you a 6-figure salary monthly, and without Sharon, you can't do anything?" He seemed truly disgusted with me, just hearing the assistant mention me would anger him. The assistant quickly said, "No such thing, I think this suit fits tonight's occasion well. Last month at the summit, Madam matched this suit for you. And this tie is C-brand's new model, Madam bought it specially for you last month, perfect match." "Enough!" James suddenly shouted sternly, "Get out!" The assistant trembled, unsure where he had offended, and quickly left the wardrobe. I floated in the air, indifferently watching James' anger because of me, then seeing him gradually calm from irritability. He stood there for a long time, thinking about something unknown, finally randomly picked a suit to change into, and left the wardrobe. At the door, the butler stood in the corridor waiting for him. "Sir, Madam, she..." James stopped. "Has she come back to admit her mistake?" The butler paused, then said, "No, I meant to say the perfume Madam prepared for you is used up. Do you want to prepare more according to the method she left?" James's face was stern. "Order other perfumes. I don't want to hear anything about Sharon anymore, don't mention her in front of me again." The butler bowed in agreement, and James strode downstairs. After breakfast, James went to the company. He seemed still very busy today, working overtime until evening. It was not until 7 o'clock, when Evelyn called, that he realized it was already late. "James, when are you coming?" "Everyone is here already." James paused, as if just remembering today was Evelyn's birthday. The former James would never forget anything about Evelyn. Today's him seemed somewhat strange. He said to the person on the phone, "Sorry, I was busy with work, heading over now." Evelyn gently said, "No problem, finish your work first, I'll wait." Hanging up, James grabbed his coat nearby and went to Evelyn's apartment. Evelyn had invited many people today. The over 200 square meter apartment was filled with flowers and balloons, decorated very warmly. The living room was already full. Upon seeing James, everyone came to greet him. A man like James could instantly become the focus anywhere. Evelyn also came over, looked around James, and asked, "James, why didn't Sharon come with you?" "She has something, can't come." James casually brushed it off, then took out the birthday gift prepared for Evelyn today. "This is your birthday gift, see if you like it." Evelyn nodded, took the gift, and opened it. Seeing an exquisite and luxurious jewelry set inside, her face instantly smiled. "James, you're so good to me." Saying that, she tiptoed and kissed James on the face. The surrounding people saw this and did not find it strange but started cheering. Many of Evelyn's friends did not know James was already married to me, thinking the two were boyfriend and girlfriend. James had always liked Evelyn, I did not know how far they had progressed over these years. In this month, they had not even held hands. I originally thought nothing substantial had happened between them. But seeing Evelyn's natural and skilled action just now, it seemed they had already done what they should. I originally thought James would be very happy after being kissed by Evelyn. After all, a beauty's kiss is loved by all. However, he just paused, then pursed his thin lips. Seeing him unhappy, Evelyn disappointedly said, "James, you know, I lived abroad the past 2 years. This is just greeting etiquette, no offense intended." Hearing her words, I couldn't help laughing. Greeting etiquette? Why not kiss everyone present one by one? I did not believe her nonsense, but obviously James did. He lightly replied, "I don't mind." Evelyn smiled brightly again, playing with the necklace, seemingly casually saying, "James, Sharon hasn't contacted you for so many days. She doesn't really want to separate from you, does she?" James's eyes darkened, very certain. "Impossible, she can't leave me." Even now, he did not believe I was dead, still waiting for me to return and bow to apologize. I suddenly became curious about his reaction after learning of my death. Evelyn's birthday party continued until midnight. Outside, it started raining, the air becoming somewhat humid. James had an old leg injury. From an hour ago, he seemed already uncomfortable, sitting on the sofa without much movement. Previously, every rainy day when his old injury flared, I would massage to relieve the pain. The darkest years of his life were accompanied by me all the way. I shared hardships with him, but now in good times, he did not think of me at all. Unsure if due to the leg injury flaring, James's mood seemed very bad tonight, drinking continuously. But he usually had a cold face, so others did not notice his abnormality, all cautiously flattering him. After the banquet ended and guests left, only he and Evelyn remained in the apartment. Evelyn brewed hangover soup for him, brought it over, sat beside him. "James, you drank a lot tonight, drink this to sober up." Saying that, she handed the bowl to James. I noticed she had at some point changed into a deep V-neck nightgown. When leaning close to James, whether intentional or not, she revealed much allure. James completely did not notice her seduction, took a sip of the soup, then stared at the bowl in a daze. After a long while, he murmured, "Different from what she brewed." Evelyn paused. "James, what did you say?" James shook his head, drank the entire bowl. After finishing, James prepared to leave. Seeing him leaving, Evelyn stood, hugged him from behind, her soft body against his back, gently saying, "James, don't leave tonight, okay?" James removed her hands from him, his voice cold. "Evelyn, I've said, I have a family now, mind your boundaries." Evelyn's eyes reddened. "Sharon hasn't come home for over a month. These 2 years she's been ambiguous with that man Aaron, maybe she left with him long ago." "Enough!" James suddenly shouted. Evelyn was scared by his roar, standing stiff with tears. In a month, this was the first time I saw James yell at Evelyn. It seemed his leg injury was truly painful. Previously, when still in a wheelchair, he often yelled at me like this when in pain, even worse. He told me to get lost, never appear in his sight again. I shamelessly hugged and comforted him, kissing his face bit by bit, his lips, coaxing that it doesn't hurt. He pushed me, cursed me, said I was cheesy, affected, my saliva dirty. I was not annoyed, continued coaxing. When the pain passed, I hugged him and silly smiled. At that time, my heart and eyes were full of him. Even if everyone despised him as a cripple, I still felt joyful. I thought, as long as it's him, even guarding him in a wheelchair for life is fine. But later, once recovered, he immediately turned to others. After 3 years together, he still looked down on me. After yelling, James realized his loss of composure, rubbed his brow, said, "Sorry, I'm in a bad mood today, don't be angry." Evelyn's eyes rimmed red, on the verge of tears. She hugged James's waist again, looking up with wet eyes. "James, do you still like me?" In a month, this was the first time she so directly asked about their relationship. Hearing her ask, I suddenly understood why she specifically asked James to bring me today yesterday. She originally planned to say she still loved James in front of me, making him choose between her and me. She wanted to see me abandoned by James, so I would never dare entangle him overreachingly. Unfortunately, I was already dead. Her plan failed, now she could only ask alone. Hearing her question, James hesitated, said, "I hate you." Evelyn stiffened entirely, tears swirling in her eyes instantly falling. James looked at her, sighed deeply, raised his hand to gently wipe her tears, "But I can't forget you either." As his words fell, I couldn't help sarcastically laughing. Initially, after James's legs were disabled, Evelyn unhesitatingly chose to go abroad. Upon return, she told James she was forced by her parents. This excuse was clumsy and untenable, even I didn't believe it. Yet James did, and lately, he had been caring for her extra. Or perhaps James actually didn't believe it either. But as he said, he couldn't let go of Evelyn. Because he couldn't, he chose to deceive himself, believing her. His trust in Evelyn was unconditional, even if she lied, he was willing to believe. And me? On the day my cancer surgery needed signing, he told me to die. No trust at all. This was the man I liked for 10 years. How absurd and laughable. Hearing James's words, Evelyn's face showed more smile. Then, thinking of something, her eyes flickered, asking, "What about Sharon? Do you have feelings for her?" James paused, lowered his eyelids, I couldn't see his emotions. After a moment's silence, he said, "She's just my nominal wife." Hearing this, I self-mockingly laughed. Evelyn completely beamed, hooked James's neck, then, "James, stay tonight, okay?" Saying that, she tiptoed to kiss him. James turned his face away. Evelyn stiffened, then released him, "James, you still won't accept me." Her tone full of a little woman's grievance. James took a deep breath, "After all, I have a family now. If this spreads, it's bad for your reputation." Evelyn rarely threw a tantrum, "I don't mind, I just want you." James's voice cooled, "Be obedient." Evelyn unwillingly bit her lip, finally withdrew her hand, dissatisfied, "Then when will you mention divorce to Sharon?" "Sharon is kind, mention divorce to her when you return, she should fulfill us. After all, we truly love each other." James perfunctorily said, "I can't contact her lately, once I do, I'll talk divorce." "I'll go back tonight, rest well." Evelyn reluctantly nodded, saw James downstairs. Back home, James called me again. I guessed he wanted to discuss divorce. Unfortunately, my phone was still unreachable. After several unanswered calls, he irritably opened my Facebook chat. Our chat history stopped a month ago, the day I asked him to come to the hospital to sign the surgery consent. That day, I first messaged him on Facebook, he didn't reply, so I called. Now opening the chat, it showed what I said that day, "James, I have cancer, can you come see me?" "James, the doctor needs family signature for surgery, do you have time?" "It won't take long, at most an hour, please." "James, I'm entering the operating room, you're still not coming?" "Goodbye, James." Up to here, for the next month, we had no contact. James looked at those messages, as if frozen. After about 10 minutes, with a dark face, he deleted all my messages about cancer, then fingers flew on the keyboard, "Sharon, I'm giving you one last chance, stop fooling around, come back quickly. If I don't see you by tomorrow, we'll divorce." Seeing his edited text, I couldn't help laughing. He originally planned divorce, yet used this to threaten me. The message sent, still no response. James's face grew uglier, put down the phone to shower. After showering, he received an overseas call. The person spoke fluent English, "Hello, are you Miss Sharon's family?" James paused, then replied yes. The person continued, "Sir, hello, your wife participated in the design competition 2 months ago, her work won, but we couldn't contact her, now reaching you via her emergency contact. If convenient, please provide Miss Sharon's contact." James dazed, didn't Sharon already give up design? Listening to their conversation, I involuntarily recalled the past. I graduated from a top domestic design school, my dream was to take my works international. Later, marrying James, I gave up my career to care for him wholeheartedly. He once asked if I regretted giving up my dream for him, not wanting to burden him. I lied that work was too tiring, better as a full-time wife. He believed it, asked no more. But actually, I always wanted to continue studying and make my own way by strength. This year, as James and Evelyn grew closer, I foresaw he would abandon me soon, so I picked up my profession again, submitting to design. The competition went smoothly. I was first in preliminaries and semis. I was overjoyed, thinking I had a chance to pursue my dream. However, then I suddenly received the hospital report saying I had gastric cancer, with less than half a year left. Before cheering for new life, I fell into the abyss again. At that time, I wanted to confide my suffering to James, but he didn't even believe I had cancer, leaving me to die alone on the operating table. Giving up my future and career for this cold, heartless man was the biggest mistake of my life. After the call with design organizers, James lit another cigarette. He sat alone for a long time, then showered and went to bed. The next morning, the butler brought the newly purchased perfume to the bedroom. James picked it up, sprayed some on his wrist, sniffed gently, then frowned tightly. Seeing his bad expression, the butler cautiously said, "Sir, if unsatisfied, I'll have more samples brought tonight for selection." "No need." James put the men's perfume sample back, prepare according to Sharon's previous method and send it over. The butler agreed and left with the items. After breakfast, James went to the company. The assistant came over respectfully. "James, we've found Mr. Aaron's location. He's been at the orphanage, shall I have him brought back?" James's face cold. "Tell Vincent to prepare the car, I'll go personally." Vincent was James's driver and bodyguard, a special forces veteran with exceptional skills. I recalled last time Aaron defied James on the phone. James had a bad temper, always vengeful. Finding Aaron was probably to vent anger. I was somewhat worried about Aaron's safety, wanting to do something. But now in Soul State, I could do nothing, only watch as James drove to a city, found Aaron at the orphanage. When I followed James to the orphanage, Aaron was distributing candy to the children. Seeing those familiar kids, I was dazed. I was an orphan, adopted 3 times and abandoned. First adoption, the adoptive mother was a single woman. She lived by collecting scraps, disabled legs, never married. During volunteer work, she pitted orphanage children, adopted 2 compassionately. I was one. However, her meager income couldn't support 2, finally, she painfully sent 1 back. So I returned to the orphanage. Second adoption, adoptive parents were good to me. Low income, but gave me the best. Though good, I was cautious, never daring to ask, even for 2 yuan school notebook fee, I didn't ask. Later, I finally opened up, treated them as real family, got close and coquettish, but they died in a car accident buying my birthday cake. My birthday became their death anniversary. From then, I no longer celebrated birthdays. Third adoption, a complete family. Adoptive parents had an 18-year-old son, 3 years older. Long after, I learned they adopted me because a fortune teller said my birth chart matched their son's, marrying me would bring wealth luck, so adopted as child bride. Their son thought I'd marry him anyway, so frequently harassed me. Once unbearable, I reported to police. Adoptive mother came, took me as guardian, home closed door, slapped my face. "You were adopted to be my son's wife, he just touched your hand, why so affected? I provide food and shelter. For this triviality you report police, wanting to ruin my son's future." After that, I dared not resist. No matter how bullied, I endured. Until school, I met James, he helped me. James and I were classmates, we rarely spoke. But as class monitor, everyone knew me. James naturally did too. Seeing adoptive mother's son arm around my waist, saying vulgar words, James raised brow, threw bag to friend, punched over. Adoptive mother's son was fat, weak physique, no fighting power, after beaten badly, kicked into ditch. I stared dazed, forgot words. "Sharon?" He turned to me. I nodded dazed. He scolded badly, "Are you stupid? Being taken advantage of and not resisting?" I snapped back, first reaction not gratitude but panic. Can't resist, you hurt him, my parents won't let me go. Then I was anxious, almost crying. James cursed me spineless, tossed handkerchief to wipe tears, said he wouldn't let me have trouble, told me to relax. Later, indeed no trouble. After that day, he used connections to send adoptive mother's son to juvenile detention. Adoptive parents, due to Jiang family's domestic power, dared not find me again. I returned to orphanage, no more adoptions. But from high school to university, James's parents sponsored me. And they did so because of James's persuasion. My life lonely, James my only light. I couldn't suppress being attracted, fell in love. I never dared reveal my feelings. Until his accident, legs problem, I finally had chance to marry him. I thought, finally happiness. But that happiness was stolen. After Evelyn returned, my little happiness lost. Aaron finished distributing candy, face always with shallow smile. Seeing James, smile instantly vanished, turned to walk inside. James strode over, I thought he'd attack Aaron, but he just grabbed Aaron's hand, face frosty. Where is Sharon? Have her come see me. I was stunned. I never imagined he'd come all this way just to see me. When did he start caring so much about my affairs? Unfortunately, I'm dead now. If he comes looking for me, he'll probably only find my gravestone. James's tone commanding as always. Aaron shook off his hand, indifferently. I said, Sharon is dead, you can't see her. James's dark eyes sank, coldly. Aaron, don't joke like this. Quickly have Sharon come see me. Or I'll demolish this orphanage. Threatened Aaron, angry too, asked, James, don't you like Evelyn? Now Sharon gone, should be good for you, why find her? Don't tell me, when she humbly served you before you didn't like, now gone you want to cling? Are you masochistic? James never cursed to face like this in life, face black as ink, but endured without attacking, just said, I'm here to find her for divorce. Even if leaving, should divorce first, now occupying wife position, disappeared, how I marry others later. Hearing this, I couldn't help laughing. No wonder James went to such lengths, to find me for divorce, so he and Evelyn can be together. Aaron stared a while, suddenly laughed, James, stop being stubborn, you fell in love with Sharon, right? James like lion tail stepped, instantly furious, nonsense. How could I like a woman like Sharon? Aaron didn't argue more, smile more obvious, you really want to see her? James nodded. Then follow me. Aaron said, turn to back hill. James followed, soon up mountain. Midsummer, dandelions blooming profusely. Path up rugged, ground all soil. James's custom shoes walked, stained much mud. He has cleanliness obsession, seeing more mud on shoes, face gradually ugly. Aaron, I asked you to take me to see Sharon, why bring me here? Aaron didn't answer, just continued up. Mid-mountain, vast dandelion clusters, quietly standing several tombstones. Orphanage remote, locals prefer earth burial, slope has several graves. The simplest one was mine. Aaron led James to stop at my grave, indifferently, this is Sharon. James looked down at photo and name on tombstone, entirely stunned. He stared at the black and white photo long, finally turned, grabbed Aaron's collar, hatefully, Aaron, you tricked me? Facing his anger, Aaron very calm, I didn't, this is Sharon's grave. James still didn't believe, released collar, stepped back, impossible. A month ago she came to me, how could she suddenly be gone? Aaron, don't lie, quickly have her see me. Saying this, James's eyes faintly red. Aaron looked at my tombstone, eyes red too, tears welling. I didn't lie. She's really dead. Aaron's voice trembled, yes, a month ago she did go to you, but remember why? Because advanced gastric cancer needed surgery, doctor asked her to have you sign. She orphaned from young, grew on charity, no stable home. Later cancer, no one to confide or support. You her only family, after diagnosis went to you. Wanted to tell she scared. But you not only disbelieved, but for Evelyn told her to die. Aaron saying, voice gradually choked, tears uncontrollable, until last moment before death thinking of you, but did you ever once put her in heart? When she loved you before you didn't cherish, now won't find her, pity, can't find. Lifetime won't see her. Enough. James exasperated, Aaron, don't think fake grave can fool me. She can't die. She was so vivid. Aaron seeing himself deceive, couldn't help mock laugh, if think I lie, go hospital check yourself. Surgery at second hospital, only month, records surely there, as husband, getting records and death certificate easy. James's hand at side slowly clenched, finally said nothing, silently left. I forced to follow, thought he'd go hospital confirm death, but he directly back villa, entered my room. Married 3 years, we always separate rooms. Previously he only entered my room when needed, today abnormally in daytime entered, directly lay on my bed. He hugged my quilt deeply inhaled, then eyes gradually red, voice hoarse calling, Sharon. He suppressed choking voice, called my name repeatedly. However, bedroom silent, no one would respond to his Sharon anymore. Next 2 days, James didn't send anyone to hospital confirm death, but moved out villa, into apartment near company, living normally. As if my death insignificant to him. I died. And he only half-day sad for me. His life seemed unchanged. I originally thought so. Until a dinner broke James's disguised indifference. That day, James entertaining bosses from partner companies. After 3 rounds, all tipsy. Someone raised glass, swaying asked, James, heard your wife passed? Box instantly quiet. James silently drank, said nothing. Last time James went orphanage back hill, photographed on news, now whole city basically knows James's wife dead. Media even uploaded my cancer records and death certificate. Everyone knows I died. Only James doesn't believe. Seeing James silent, continued, in this city, who I envy most is James. Not only young successful, home wife died. Promotion wealth dead first wife, this others pray can't get good fortune. James's face sank. Boss's secretary quickly mediated, James, Martin drunk likes nonsense, be magnanimous, don't mind him. Martin didn't think wrong, dizzily, what nonsense, I asked present who not cheating outside behind home hag. James' wife directly dead, how convenient find mistress. Bang. Words unfinished, bottle shattering piercing with screams. Speaking Martin now head gashed, straight fell on table. Beside him, James gloomy standing, hand holding bloodied bottle. Eyes bloodshot, with broken madness. Surroundings no one dared speak, all silent as cicadas, lingering fear watching him. James threw bottle, cold eyes swept all, Sharon just missing, who spreads rumor she's dead, don't blame me impolite. Said, turned left. People in box reacted after he left, called waiter clean, dialed 911. But no one dared police. Previous James already unprovocable. Let alone now seeming mad. No one dared touch his wound. I followed James out box, saw his red eye corners and near collapse expression, but my heart unmoved. I knew he probably believed I passed, so acted so sad. But I didn't care for his regret. I just wanted reincarnate soon, far from him. Next life don't meet again. James hurt person, own hand injured too. He didn't treat, let palm red blood drip from fingertips to ground. After car, not back villa. I floated following distance, discovered road to orphanage. He parked at back mountain foot. Road rained, muddy water flowing down, dirtying highway. James got off up mountain, expensive shoes and pants full mud water, as if unnoticed, just kept up, finally stopped at my tombstone. Torrential rain, water washing almost can't open eyes. I wondered why James here so late, saw him kneel behind tombstone, then barehanded dig my grave. I shocked beyond control, rushed to stop. I'm already dead, he won't let me rest. How much he hate me to do this. But now I can't touch him. I rushed at him to block, but body passed through. No way, could only watch aside as James dug my grave soil bit by bit. Unknown how long, his 10 fingers bloody, mixed rain, reddened ground. Finally, small ashes box and tomb exposed. He like dug treasure, digging faster, as if no finger pain, took out muddy box. He dazed looked small box long, as if finally confirmed death, hugged tightly, suppressed restrained silent cried. Sharon, sorry. I cold-eyed watched him cry aloud, heart no pity, only disgust. Alive, he unwilling give glance. Now dead, come pretend deep affection. Late affection cheaper than grass. Cold wind howled, desolate lonely. Rain non-stop. James hugged ashes, knelt at grave long. Like century, he got up, soulless hugged ashes left. Hand wound kept bleeding. But as if no pain, hugged ashes back villa. Butler came greet, saw him dirty messy, holding ashes box, scared stunned. Sir, this. James no response, woodenly upstairs. Butler wanted follow, but afraid, finally didn't, back own room. Upstairs, James not master bedroom, but my room again. Found soft towel, carefully wiped mud water off ashes box, changed clothes, hugged box lay on bed. He lowered head, gently kissed cold wood box, voice soft dripping. Sharon, good night. This seemed too horrific, even me ghost couldn't help tremble. He said good night to ashes box, but didn't close eyes all night. Like soulless corpse, whole night same position no move, just woodenly looked out floor window, listening rain hit leaves. Until morning Camille up notify meal, his dead water eyes moved, regained some life. Outside, Camille waited long, no response, directly pushed door and find him. Sir. James no head lift, scram. Camille scared by anger, saw ashes box and arms, scared back step, accidentally hit cabinet. Notebook on cabinet fell down ground loud. Camille quickly apologized, bent pick up. James shouted again, don't touch her things. Camille trembled, neither stay nor go, awkwardly stood. James got up bed, personally bent pick up. After, carefully checked damage, then paused, opened first page. I subconsciously wanted snatch back but hand passed through notebook, couldn't touch. This notebook Camille dropped was my diary. I didn't want James see diary. Recorded too much my vulnerable side. Didn't want him see. Would seem pitiful. I don't need his pity. But now can't touch objects, could only watch James flip through diary. February 1st, 2020, snow. James's mom found me, asked if willing marry James, be wife. I agreed immediately. Not for donation. Because I like James. He doesn't know, I actually liked him long. February 3rd, 2020, snow. Previously applied study abroad, today Milan Design Academy sent admission email. February 10th, 2020, cloudy. Hesitated long, ultimately didn't go abroad. James asked previous study abroad online interview result. I lied didn't pass. He believed. March 21st, 2020, sunny. Married James. Evening James didn't return. Heard Evelyn abroad trouble, he rushed overnight. Wedding night, my groom saw another woman. March 22nd, 2020, overcast. Evelyn sent photo. James lying her bed, tired asleep. She said, Sharon, borrow your husband one night, return tomorrow. Words full provocation boast. My heart like hole, whooshing cold wind in. March 26th, 2020, sunny. James back. His mom scolded him, forbade find Evelyn again. James agreed. Said would treat me well after. I believed. April 12th, 2020, overcast. James leg pain, cursed away another caregiver. I personally massaged. He wouldn't let touch, smashed book on my head. Bloodied book fell ground. We both stunned. Head hurt some. But James personally applied medicine. Seemed not hurt anymore. May 14th, 2020, sunny. Today's sunshine good. First time cooked for James. He said bad. Evening secretly learned from Camille. He still said bad. But ate all dishes. I watched him silly happy. James glanced, cursed me silly. I smiled, then kissed him. James' face ugly some, glanced again, but followed me laughed. June 3, 2020, sunny. James's mom invited foreign expert consult James, said cure possible. Jiang family all happy, me too. Made feast for them. James still said bad. But again ate all. November 10, 2020, sunny. After months treatment, James finally stand. Like toddler, under my support wobbly forward. I laughed slow walk, he glared, then kissed me. His first kiss. Bit sweet. I smiled couldn't close mouth half day. January 21, 2023, snow. James's legs fully healed. Agreed watch movie together. After movie out, saw familiar figure. Person turned, Evelyn. James released holding my hand, straight looked there. Moment Evelyn looked over, I knew my happiness ending. October 9, 2023, overcast. Doctor said confirmed gastric cancer. Suggested surgery, though success rate only 10%, at least chance live. If no surgery, won't live over 3 months. I wanted treat well, agreed surgery. Alone heart some afraid. So found James. He my only family. Before he said, when legs healed, protect me lifetime. When went, he not there. Evelyn fell water, I saved her. James back thought I pushed Evelyn. Then cursed me sick, told die. He didn't know, I really about die. October 10, 2023, overcast. Yesterday fell water, today fever. Eating vomited blood, knocked over bowls. Restaurant only me. Wiped blood, cleaned utensils, upstairs sleep. Stomach twisted pain. Took painkiller. Still pain. Bad mood, started browsing Facebook. Saw James. He and Evelyn's photo. Apron tied kitchen porridge, back elegant solitary. Evelyn's caption, feeling cared for so good. I looked post long. Finally liked Evelyn's, 8 more painkillers. Being cared for indeed good. October 11, 2023, overcast. Told Aaron prepare surgery, asked him sign then. Aaron phone cursed James bloody. Listening I felt satisfied, didn't stop. October 12, 2023, overcast. Midnight, stomach pain again. Found medicine eat. 2 pills no use. Ate 4 more. Suddenly thought, if surgery fail what? After death where go? Want see. If died, hope someone scatter ashes blue sea. They're quiet. Most important, no James and Evelyn. October 13, 2023, overcast. Lately always rain, annoying. Recall 2 years ago James still wheelchair. Out play, sudden rain, pushed him hide convenience store, bought ice cream box. James not like eat, all gave me. Wait I finish, he came sip ice cream on my mouth. Said, good. I said by him, he said bad, don't want. Looked him, suddenly laughed. Recalling, mood seemed better. October 14, 2023, overcast. Surgery day after tomorrow. Evening Aaron invited out eat. I asked if last meal. He slapped my head, scolded, less inauspicious words. I smiled him, no speak. Looked up, saw opposite restaurant James and Evelyn. Heart suddenly stopped, couldn't smile. Pain. Everywhere pain. Find medicine eat. My medicine? Did I bring? October 15, 2023, overcast. Tomorrow surgery, go hospital prepare. Heart some afraid. Want James a company. Called him. He unwilling come. Said wait I die he collect body. James liar. Finally collect body clearly Aaron. Diary stopped day before surgery. Obviously, surgery failed. I saw red bloodshot in James's eyes. To me, he ultimately guilty. If before, seeing James suffer, I'd definitely heartache, even more than him. But these days seeing him sad, heart no ripple. Looking him like irrelevant person. To him, I really let go. Now just want quickly leave James, reincarnate. Sir, condolences. Beside Camille's side, comforted. James closed eyes, put diary back cabinet, out. Camille hesitated speak, finally sighed, turned downstairs. After Camille left, James lay back bed, tightly hugged black box with my ashes, tears streaming. Sharon, sorry. If knew you really ill, that day absolutely not say those words, absolutely not leave you. He said nicely. But I clear, even if knew real gastric cancer, probably wouldn't care. After all then busy accompanying Evelyn. He heart resented me pushing Evelyn water, fundamentally ignore surgery risk how big. Only now I dead, person really gone, he shed few crocodile tears. I indifferently watched James hug ashes, cry heartrending. I couldn't understand what crying for. He loves clearly Evelyn. Now crying like cares much about me. Sharon. James repeatedly called name, voice choked suppressed, Sharon, don't lie anymore, you're alive right? I won't see Evelyn again, won't make you unhappy, won't temper at you, as long as you back. James holding me, said many words, each sound sentence like lover's sweetest whisper coax. But he can't coax me back. Because this time really dead. Next day, James always hugged ashes, guarded my room repent cry. Midway Evelyn called several, he didn't glance. Next morning, bedroom door knocked again. This time not Camille, but Evelyn. James, heard from butler uncle you know eat drink inside day, can you come see me? This way, body will break. James ignored, godless eyes always quietly looked window. Evelyn persistently knocked. No response long. Finally stopped knocking, directly pushed door in. James, heard night before you hit person hand injured, get up let me see. Saying, saw on bed not only James, but my ashes box. Her face paled, obviously afraid. But quickly adjusted, carrying medicine box sat bedside, opened box herself. James, no Sharon dead you heart sad, but can't disregard own body? Look your hand, injured like this, how painful? I help treat. Saying, reached grabbed James's wrist. James no resist, just quietly lay bed, let Evelyn treat wound. Seeing no resist, Evelyn somewhat smug smiled. Earlier outside, heard butler tell Evelyn, yesterday day James saw no one, let no one touch. Now she probably thinks herself James's exception, heart happy. She glanced my ashes, face smile more obvious. Probably thinks I dead, Jian young madam position her turn. But worry James notice abnormal, quickly restrained smile, while treating wound side. Sharon really, got cancer not tell us, alone silently bear, how painful. Hearing my name, James finally reacted, murmured, yes, how painful alone. She got such serious illness, alone in cold hospital so long. She always sensitive fragile, then how much wanted depend me. But what I do? Told her die, forced apologize for not done, when most vulnerable crushed her last psychological defense. He rambled, eyes red again. Evelyn indifferently listened, wait finished treating wound, he finished, then pretended sad sighed. Ah, Sharon indeed pitiful. But deceased gone, we still look forward. James, you said before divorce Sharon marry me, now she gone, can we get certificate? Words just fell, James' sinister gaze swept over. Evelyn trembled, no now mention inappropriate, just worry you immersed in Sharon brought grief can't out, so said. Others say forget relationship best way start new romance? We. Last time lakeside, James interrupted, was it really Sharon pushed you water? Evelyn faced no guilt, even with wronged by unfounded suspicion. James, you not suspect I framed Sharon? That day really she pushed, cold day, I couldn't jump myself right? James' pair black deep eyes stared, voice cold, Evelyn, give you last chance, tell truth, what happened that day? Evelyn bit lip, no speak. James got up bed, stern, since unwilling say, I'll check surveillance myself. Evelyn anxious, quickly pulled hand, I say. James turned back, ice cold looked. Evelyn bit lip again, unwilling explained, that day actually I careless fell, Sharon arrived scene, jumped water saved me up. James sarcastically laughed, she saved you, but you told me she pushed? Evelyn, how dare you? Evelyn scared by his oppressive aura, voice smaller, then just casual say, who knew you'd really believe? Just lied, Sharon won't lose flesh. Slap. Words unfinished, James slapped hard her face. This slap extremely ruthless, Evelyn head turned side, lip corner even blood overflowed. She incredulously widened eyes, turned back looked James. James? You actually for Sharon that bitch hit me. Anyway you don't love her, she dead what relation you? Initially you cursed her die, now what mad? James angered by words trembled, I told her die because you lied. If not you lied she hurt you, how I say such vicious words? Evelyn sneered, countered, these years I know provoke your relation, you think you treated her well? After I return indeed thought seduce you, but if not you unsteady, how things this mess? That day she fell water, up frozen purple, vomited blood, you glanced her? In end all you caused, now here pretend good person? Listening Evelyn's accusations, James' eyes surged towering anger. Grabbed Evelyn's hair, dragged to bathroom. Evelyn pained wailed, desperately struggled. But her strength no match James, ultimately dragged in. Then pressed head, stuffed face into toilet. James' eyes bloodshot, full madness. Last fall water not drowned you, today I help. Sharon dead, you and I should go accompany her. I aside, watching dog bite dog, heart indescribable satisfaction. But also some sorrow. Once protected me behind that flamboyant willful boy, now grown violent heartless man. Ultimately, James couldn't drown Evelyn. When Evelyn choked several mouthfuls toilet water, about drown, Butler rushed in, pulled James. Evelyn seized chance, staggered escaped. Out, saw my ashes box on bed, anger rose, went directly picked up, heavily through ground. Ashes scattered floor, James chasing from bathroom saw scene, eyes cracked. Evelyn saw him out, scared no look back fled door. James lips pale, no mind her, just trembling walked to ashes box. Knelt ground, extended hand, handful, carefully put all ashes back box. Sharon, this my Sharon, can't be gone, can't. He muttered obsessed, as if scattered ground his most loved person's remains. Seeing this, my heart rose sorrow. Between us, how came to this step? Evelyn disabled. That day ran from Jian home, hit by passing car, high paraplegia, never walk again. Once, she abandoned James when body problem. This time James ignored her. Days later, James held funeral for me. That day rained. Misty rain, he buried me in Jian family cemetery. There buried generations ancestors. He had engraved on tombstone, deceased wife Sharon. I know parents. Funeral day, only Jiang relatives and Aaron attended. Seeing James, Aaron couldn't hold, directly punched. James, you mad? Sharon already buried before, you dug her ashes again. She gone, why disturb her peace? Surrounding bodyguards saw wanted stop, but James' raised hand stopped. He forced pale smile, Sharon diary said after death won't sink sea bottom, I'm just fulfilling wish. Aaron unsatisfied explanation, but today my funeral, he endured, no more attacked James. After funeral, James had next plot cleaned. Butler asked purpose. He smiled, murmured, Sharon timid, alone sleep afraid. I have to accompany her. After funeral, James' life gradually normal. Daily on time eat, regular exercise, often spare time accompany parents. He seemed life clearer than anyone. Company prospects better, assets growing, like previous heartbreak never existed. But too normal, instead seemed abnormal. Perhaps foreseeing, second year spring, Jiang elders had another child. After James's mom pregnant, James like unloaded burden. Started handwork authority back to Jiang father, most daily time home grow flowers grass. Occasionally cook himself. Always 2 portions, one eat himself, one opposite, pretend someone eat with him. Later, one bright moonlight night, James bought bottle sleeping pills. All poured out, on table. Then one by one picked, put mouth. Dazed, lifted head my direction, low murmured, "Sharon, you come pick me?" I quietly watched, no answer. James ultimately didn't die. Parents found, sent hospital. James in or rescue, elders outside cried heartbroken. I aside watching, couldn't help tears. James bastard, but his mom always extremely good to me. Actually I don't want hope James really die. For him, death too easy. I more hope he live lifetime in pain regret. James hospital rescued after, blankly looked around. Like suddenly thought, pulled hand 4, flipped bed, rummaged find something. His hand back needle hole kept seeping blood, but as if unaware, still anxiously searching. James's mom pulled him, "James, finding what?" Mom help find. James finally stopped, eyes instantly filled tears, trembling, "Mom, Sharon gone, I find Sharon." I clearly saw her, how gone, how gone. Seeing this, James's mom couldn't help red eyes. "James, Sharon already buried, forgot?" But I clearly saw. James suddenly quiet, probably realized saw illusion. Held head, gradually squatted, finally sobbed uncontrollably. Since James' suicide behavior, Jiang elders sealed all home windows, collected all sharp objects drugs, sent servants 24/7 watch James, fear he seek death again. Concerned Jiang elders, James didn't seek death again. Started work desperately. Off work outside binge drink. Every night home, sleep in my closet. Butler asked out, unwilling. Said, "There Sharon sent. Sleep there, feel I still alive." I still followed him. But soul body day by day transparent. Knew my time near. Watching James in regret gradually degenerate, my heart resentment him finally disappeared. Finally one sunny afternoon, my soul completely dissipated. Before disappear, James seemed lift turbid eyes glanced me. I heard him call, "Sharon?" Hearing voice, suddenly recall 10 years ago. He saved me from adoptive mother son's hand, stood sunlight, called my name like this. If time could stay that year how good. Once James, had moment pure good to me. James's recollections. Afternoon some moment, James felt seemed saw Sharon's shadow. She floated midair, silently looked him, brows eyes with traces pity. He reached grab, figure instantly disappeared. Heart like something flowed away. Only dead silence left. After this day, his binge drinking worsened. He actually not love drink. But insomnia severe. No drink can't sleep. But only asleep, could see his love and dreams. Sometimes he thought just forever sleep. Don't remember when started, daily regularly do things. Daily morning 6 get up prepare breakfast, simple bacon eggs plus milk, Sharon's favorite. He always smiling looked table opposite, ingratiating asked, "Good? Too salty?" Next time note. Can't picky, celery too. Still not want? Then forget, I eat for you. Daily after breakfast, where Sharon bought couple outfits out walk, sit river bench, ramble say, "Today weather good. Rained, leg pain again. Sharon, massage leg okay? Forget, after don't you serve me, I serve you. Lately no dream you hate me? Why not come dream? Sharon, I still waiting, when you back?" Days thus unhurried forward. Day after day. James like lived own world. Still daily make breakfast, morning run. Night home, sleep her closet, capture Sharon left remaining scent. Gradually, closet scent started dissipate. He no more capture Sharon's smell. Started panic. Mad like collected all things with her scent, asked perfume company restore scent. But all ultimately futile. No matter perfumer's skill how superb, impossible restore person's original scent. He seemed no more capture any her things. Heart completely empty. Life became dead water. This world like purgatory. Every minute second, for him so hard endure. James's parents had new girl. After child born, James daily back visit sister, buy various small clothes, socks, amuse child happy. Wait James's mom out confinement, emotion stable, James last visited once. Saw family 3 harmonious, he smiled along. Accompanied family dinner, before out, James's mom instructed, take care yourself, tomorrow come see sister. James smiled her, okay. Said, turned left. James's mom watched back, inexplicable uneasy. Next day, her wrist bracelet shattered. News reported. Jiang Group president last night alone drove seaside, never back. That sea contained Sharon Ash's place.